Ever picked up a call with no one on the line, just silence or worse, a whisper? Welcome to Shadow Watch, where we unravel tales that make your skin crawl. Tonight, we're diving into Chicago's urban shadows, where a voice calls at midnight, and answering might cost you everything. It's the Midnight Caller, and once he knows your name, he's already too close. Stay with us. This story's twists will keep you up long past 12. Meet Sarah Nguyen, a 32-year-old office worker living in a high-rise in Chicago's Loop. It's November 2023, and Sarah's life is steady, long hours, takeout dinners, and a view of Lake Michigan from her 14th floor apartment. Her building, the old Grayson Towers, has charm. All creaky elevators and faded art deco. But lately, something's off. Her phone buzzes at midnight. No caller ID, just static. Then a faint whisper. Her name, Sarah, slow, like it's tasting the word. She hangs up, blaming a prank, but her pulse says otherwise. The call started a week ago, always at 12:01 a.m., never a number she can trace. Sarah's practical, not one for ghost stories, but Chicago's got its legends, and Grayson Towers has whispers of its own. At the corner bar, she overhears regulars talk about the Midnight Caller, a tale from the 80s about a voice that calls from nowhere, tied to a tenant who died in the building. They laugh, but their eyes don't, and Sarah feels a chill, like she's being watched. She digs online, finding scraps, a forum post about Grayson's history, a fire in '82, a man named Victor Klein, a recluse, found dead in his apartment, phone in hand. Locals swore he still called, picking names from the building's roster. Sarah shakes it off. Urban myths don't dial cell phones. But that night the call comes again, louder, her name clearer, followed by a laugh. Low, not human. Sarah's heart races. She mutes the phone, but it rings anyway, screen blank. She answers, stupidly, and hears it. Sarah, drawn out, like a promise. The line cuts, but her apartment feels smaller. The city's hum outside too quiet. She checks the locks, the windows, all secure, but the air's heavy, like someone standing just out of sight. Her neighbor, an old woman named Ruth, warned her yesterday. Don't answer after midnight, girl. Sarah hadn't listened, and now she's not so sure. She pulls out her laptop, searching deeper, finding an article, barely archived, about Victor's death. He wasn't just a tenant, he owned Grayson, poured his life into it, but lost everything in the fire. Rumors said he cursed the place, tied his rage to the wires, the walls. Sarah's phone buzzes again, not a call, but a voicemail, no source, just her name over and over like a chant. She deletes it, hand shaking, but the whisper lingers, echoing in her head. Sleep's impossible, so Sarah paces, eyes on the city lights, wondering if she's losing it. Then she sees it, in the window's reflection, a shape, tall, blurred, right behind her. She spins, room empty, but the whisper comes again, not from the phone, from the air. Sarah. Her breath catches, she's alone, but not, and the midnight caller's closer than she thought. What would you do, hearing your name in the dark, with no one there? Would you answer again, or unplug everything? Sarah's about to learn what happens when you pick up for the midnight caller. Don't go anywhere. This story's just starting, and it's darker than Chicago's deepest nights. Sarah's hands shake, clutching her phone, the whisper of her name still ringing in her ears. The apartment's dark, city lights casting long shadows across her floor. She checks the voicemail again, deleted, but the echo lingers. Sarah, slow, deliberate, like it knows her. The air feels thick, pressing down, and the reflection in the window stays with her, that blurred shape, too close. Sarah's no pushover, but this isn't a prank. It's something else. Something in Grayson Towers that's found her. She boots her laptop, diving deeper into the building's past. The article on Victor Klein's sketchy, but mentions a basement, sealed after the '82 fire, where he spent his final days. Forum posts call it his shrine, littered with old phones, wires, like he was calling someone, or something. Sarah's pulse quickens. Ruth's warning replays, "Don't answer." She ignored it, and now the caller's voice feels like it's inside her head. Sarah grabs a flashlight, her keys, and heads for the elevator. The basement's off limits, but she's done playing safe. The hallway's quiet, fluorescent lights buzzing, her footsteps too loud. The elevator creaks, descending slow, and her phone buzzes. No caller ID. She doesn't answer, but the whisper comes anyway. "Sarah," from the speaker, unprompted. Her throat tightens, she jabs the stop button, but the elevator keeps going, past the lobby, down to a floor that shouldn't exist. The doors open to a dark corridor, air damp, smelling of ash and metal. Sarah's flashlight cuts through, revealing concrete walls, scorched with faint scratches like names etched in panic. She steps out, heart hammering, the elevator shutting behind her. The whisper returns, not from her phone, but the walls, soft, chanting her name. She follows the corridor, drawn by a hum, low like static, pulling her deeper. It leads to a door, heavy steel, rusted, with a faded sign. Maintenance. Sarah pushes, hinges groaning, and steps into a room. Vast, cluttered with relics, old rotary phones, tangled wires, papers yellowed with age. Her beam catches a desk, covered in photos, faces scratched out, and a notebook, open, filled with names, dozens, some crossed off. Her breath catches. There's her name, Sarah Nguyen. Fresh ink, still wet. The hum spikes and the phones ring all at once, a shrill chorus that shakes her bones. Sarah drops her flashlight, the beam spinning, catching shadows that don't match, tall, blurred, moving. She grabs the notebook, pages tearing, and sees Victor's name, 1982, circled, with words, "I answered." The whispers grow, not just her name now, but pieces of her life. Secrets she buried, a lie she told her boss, a friend she ghosted. They're peeling her apart, and she's not alone. Sarah backs up, the shadows closing in, their edges sharpening. Not faces, but forms, hollow, watching. Her phone rings again, screen blank, and she screams, "Stop!" The ringing cuts, but the hum stays, vibrating the floor. She spots a stairwell, half hidden behind crates, its steps cracked, leading up. The shadows hiss, a soundless wait, and she runs, notebook in hand, the whispers chasing, naming her fears, her shame. The stairs are endless, her legs burning, but the shadows don't follow, they wait. Sarah bursts into the lobby, gasping, the notebook still with her, her name glowing faintly. The building's quiet again, but her phone's warm, like it's alive. She's out, but the midnight caller's not done, and she's answered too many times. What would you do with your name whispered in the dark? Would you keep searching or burn the phone? Sarah's about to face what the caller really wants, and it's not what she thinks. Stay with us. This story's turning darker, fast. Sarah's breath catches, the notebook trembling in her hands. her name scrawled in wet ink, a claim she can't escape. The basement room hums, old phones silent now, but their wires twist like veins, pulsing faintly. The shadows linger, blurred forms circling, their weight choking the air. She clutches the notebook, its pages heavy with names. Victor Klein circled, his words, "I answered," a warning she ignored. The whisper returns. Sarah, not from the walls but inside her, peeling back her secrets, her shame. She forces her legs to move, stumbling toward the stairwell, but the shadows shift, sharpening into outlines, tall, hollow, eyes glinting like static. Sarah's heart pounds. She's not imagining this. The midnight caller's here, or what's left of him, tied to this place. The notebook's pages flutter, revealing more. He takes what you owe. Owe? Sarah's no saint, a lie to climb the ladder, a promise she broke. Small sins, but they burn now, fuel for whatever Victor became. The hum spikes, and the phones ring again, a jagged chorus shaking the room. Sarah's flashlight sputters, its beam catching a symbol on the wall, a spiral scratched deep, glowing red. She blinks, and the room changes, walls stretching, wires coiling like snakes. The desk now an altar, photos pulsing with scratched-out faces. The shadows step closer, their forms clearer. Not people, but echoes, tenants, neighbors. Their eyes her own, reflecting her guilt. She screams, but the sounds swallowed, the hum drowning everything. Sarah runs for the stairs, notebook slipping, pages tearing. The shadows don't chase, they glide, their whispers naming her failures, her lies. She trips, catching herself, and sees it, her name, carved into the steps, fresh, like it was waiting. The air's heavier, colder, and the caller's voice cuts through. Sarah. Slow. Promising more. She climbs, legs burning, the stairwell twisting, longer than it should be, the lobby's light faint too far. A shadow moves ahead, tall, blurred, standing at the top. Sarah freezes. It's him, the caller. His face a smear, but his eyes burn, seeing through her. She clutches the notebook, pages now blank, except her name, over and over. The shadows below hiss, pushing her up, toward him. Sarah's mind races. Victor's story, the fire, his rage. He didn't just die, he bound himself here, to the wires, the calls, feeding on those who answer. And she answered too many times. The caller steps closer, his whisper louder. Not just her name, but her thoughts, her fears, unraveling her. Sarah's flashlight dies, darkness swallowing all but his eyes, glinting like dead screens. She bolts, shoving past, his touch cold, like static on her skin. The lobby's there, sudden, bright, but wrong. Too quiet, the hum still in her bones. She slams the elevator button, doors opening slow, and dives in, the notebook falling, her name glowing red on the floor. The elevator jerks, climbing, but the whispers follow, faint, through the walls. Sarah. She checks her phone, no signal, but it's warm, vibrating, like it's part of this. The doors open to her floor, and she runs. Apartment door in sight, but the hallway stretches, lights flickering. The shadows are back, lining the walls, not moving, just watching, waiting. She reaches her door, key shaking, and slips inside, locking it, heart in her throat. The apartment's silent, but her phone buzzes, screen blank. Sarah, whispering from nowhere. She's not safe, not here, not anywhere. What would you do with that voice in your walls knowing you answered? Would you fight or hide? Sarah's not free, and the Midnight Caller's truth is about to twist everything. Don't look away. This story's diving deeper, and it's not letting go. Sarah slams her apartment door, the lock clicking, but the hum follows, seeping through the walls. Her phone's still warm, vibrating faintly, though it's off. The notebook's gone, lost in the stairwell, but her name's etched in her mind, glowing red, a debt she didn't sign for. The city's lights flicker outside, Chicago's pulse too quiet, like the building's holding its breath. Sarah's heart races. The Midnight Caller's whisper, Sarah, still crawling under her skin. She checks the windows, secure, but the air's heavy like eyes on her back. The basement flashes back. Victor Klein's shrine, his words, he takes what you owe. Oh? Sarah's life's not perfect. A shortcut here, a lie there, small cuts that bleed now, feeding whatever Victor left behind. She grabs her laptop, searching for more, but the screen glitches, static forming her name over and over. The hum grows, and her phone lights up. No call, just his voice. Sarah, promising he's close. A knock at the door, soft, wrong. Sarah freezes, it's 2 a.m., no one visits. She peers through the peephole, nothing, but the hum spikes and the knock comes again, from inside, behind her. She spins, the apartment dark, but a shadow stands by the couch, tall, blurred, eyes like dead screens. The caller. Sarah's throat locks. He doesn't move, just watches. His whisper unraveling her, naming her guilt, her shame. The room shifts, walls bending, the city gone, just his voice, endless. Sarah bolts for the door, yanking it open, hallway empty but stretching, lights flickering. The shadows behind her, not chasing, just there, his presence await. She runs, elevator forgotten, taking stairs, her footsteps echoing, but the whispers chase. Sarah, threading through the air. The lobby's ahead, but the building feels alive, doors creaking, shadows pooling. She bursts outside, Chicago's cold air hitting her, the hum fainter but not gone. Her car's blocks away, she sprints, the city's hum drowned by her pulse. Grayson Towers looms behind, its windows dark, watching. Sarah reaches her car, key shaking, engine roaring, and peels out, the building shrinking in her rear view. Her phone's silent, but she feels him, the caller, his eyes, his voice, tied to her name. She checks the mirror, half expecting him, but it's just her, face pale, eyes wide, like his. Miles out, Sarah stops, hands trembling, trying to write it down, to make it real. Her laptop's blank, no trace of Victor, but the whisper lingers, faint in her head. The Midnight Caller doesn't need a phone, not when you've answered. She'll leave Chicago, start over, but some voices follow, waiting for the dark. What would you do, hearing your name at midnight, knowing he's there? Stories like these don't fade, they cling, make you flinch at every ring. If your heart's pounding, smash that like button, let us know you're still here. Comment below, would you answer his call or run? Share this with a friend who'd jump at a whisper, or one who'd scoff just to spook them. Subscribe to Shadow Watch, hit the bell, and brace for more tales that'll haunt your nights. Next time we're diving deeper, unless you're too scared to pick up.